Good morning, sixth graders. Today we are moving into solving inequalities. So we're going to be solving inequalities just like we solved equations last week. So the first step is the same. We need to isolate the variable and the coefficient. The second step is to eliminate the constant with the inverse operation. So remember that our inverse operations are the inverse of addition is subtraction, the inverse of subtraction is addition, and the inverse of multiplication is division, and the inverse of division is multiplication. So once we've eliminated that constant, then we can isolate our variable. And we do that by eliminating the coefficient by using the inverse operation. Then you can check your answer, and you check your answer just the same way. You substitute it back in for the variable. So let's try this one together. We have 6x plus 6 is greater than or equal to 48. Minus 6 minus 6. So 6x is greater than or equal to 42. Divide by 6. Divide by 6, because the inverse of multiplication is division. So x is greater than or equal to 7. Let's check our answer to make sure we're right. Let's substitute it back in. So we have 6 times 7 plus 6 is greater than or equal to 48. So multiplication first, so we get 42 plus 6 is greater than or equal to 48. And 48 is greater than or equal to 48, which is true, so we found the correct answer. So, what did you notice about solving an inequality? What were your observations? My observation was the steps for solving equations apply to solving inequalities. Oops. Let's see. So let's try this one now. So we have plus 6, not plus 6. We have to do the inverse. So we have negative 6x plus 6 is greater than 48. So we subtract 6 from each side. So we have negative 6x is greater than 42. Divide by negative 6, divide by negative 6. So x is greater than negative 7. Let's see if that works. So let's substitute it back in. 6 times negative 7 plus 6 is greater than or equal to 48. So we have negative 42 plus 6 is greater than or equal to 48. So we have negative 42 plus 6 would be negative 36 is greater than or equal to 48. Or not equal to, sorry. It's greater than 48. Oh, I made a mistake. So that should be positive. This should be 48. Is that statement true? No. The solution is incorrect. So, why might that be? Well, if you look at the second page of our notes, we're going to investigate further into why that answer was incorrect. So when we're working with negative numbers and inequalities, there are times when we have to flip the sign. So if the variable on the right flip-flop. So the variable should always be on the left. If the variable is on the other side, you must flip the direction of the inequality symbol when you flop the variable to the other side. So what I mean is you always need to make sure that the mouth, the same side of the alligator mouth, is facing the variable. So if I move my variable to the left side, I need to make sure that my greater than mouth is facing the variable. Or if it's the less than, it needs to be facing the variable. So this one would be x is greater than or equal to 54. X is less than or equal to negative 20. But here's the more important part. This is what we just saw in that other example. The coefficient is, if you remember right, the number in front of the variable. So it's the number multiplied or divided with the variable. So if the coefficient of the variable is negative, you must reverse the inequality symbol when you multiply or divide both sides of the inequality by the negative coefficient. Why? It's because the negative sign means the opposite of. So you need to reverse the symbol. So let's look at some triads. If we have -9, if we divide each side by -9, x, we have to then flip our sign, so x is greater than -9. Let's try the next one. X divided by -4. So we'd have to multiply each side by -4. So we get x is greater than or equal to -80. Let's look at this one. So we have x, -8 plus x. So we add 8 to each side. But we do not have to flip the sign for this one because you are adding or subtracting. It's only for multiplication and division that we flip the sign. So we get x is greater than 18. Now I want you to try this one first on your own. So we have 5 minus 2x is greater than or equal to 19. So our first step is going to be to minus 5 from each side. So we end up with -2x is greater than or equal to 14. Now we divide each side by -2. So x, flip the sign, is less than or equal to -7. Let's put that one back in and check our answer. So we have 5 minus 2 times -7 is greater than or equal to 19. So we have 5 minus, or if we think about it, we have a -2 times a -7, so plus 14 is greater than or equal to 19. So we have 19 is greater than or equal to 19. So we have our correct answer. So that is our lesson for today. It's very similar to solving equations. The tricky part is remembering to flip that sign if you have a negative coefficient. So we need to remember to flip that sign if we have a negative coefficient. Remember to reach out if you have any questions or concerns about today's activities.